I was still a strategist, so I didn't take care of implementation, of digital things. I didn't have to do it. And now I don't really know what's happening because I don't like social media. I don't follow. I have only a couple of platforms.
Yeah, why? Why is that?
I see no need. It was interesting in the beginning. If we talk, for example, about Facebook, it was interesting in the beginning because you could keep in contact with so many people from different countries, and all my friends are like scattered all over the world.
Yeah.
But now
This episode is brought to you by the best AI software online called Goody. That's Goody. Goody will help you create all content for your blogs, websites, newsletters, articles, ads, and even pictures, LinkedIn posts, Twitter, you name it. All you got to do is go to lopazthesane.com/Goody. That's Goody. And the best part about Goody is absolutely free. That's right. It's free for the first 7 days. You can cancel at any time. Goody will help you create all your contents for your blogs and websites online. And it's 100% absolutely free, full access for the first 7 days. All you got to do is go to my website. That's lopazthesane.com/Goody. That's Goody. Or just click the link in the show notes and get started today. Welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopaze. So like and share this video. And PS, by the way, I would appreciate it if you will leave me a 5-star review in iTunes or anywhere where you're listening to the show. Plus, if you want to reach out to me, probably the best way to do that is on my Instagram. So my Instagram is Lopaze L. That's LOPAZE 1, the number 1. Or just click the link below. That's probably the easiest way to connect with me. Or you can send me an email as well. That's support@kingofcashflowwebsites.com. support@kingofcashflowwebsites.com, or everything, the email will be in the show notes. So with that being said, today I have another special guest for you today. She's an award-winning strategist with 20 years working with global head of consumer brands with expertise in strategic development, profitability, leadership, communication. She's an ICF certified business and leadership success coach with over 16 years of leadership. She empowers impact-driven businesses to succeed on their terms and build profitable businesses while amplifying a rippling effect of goodness. My special guest today is Erin Andrea Craske. Welcome to the show. So, where are you from? Yeah.
I'm from England.
Oh, nice. I haven't had a chance to come over there yet. Hopefully one day, I'll get a chance to come over there. I know I have I have some followers over there for sure. I've actually talked to some people in the past, and they say they were in the UK somewhere. I don't know the exact location, but so yeah, I have some listeners over there. So hopefully they'll see this, and they might know you. Who knows? It's a small world.
Exactly. It's a lovely place. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it too.
Yeah. So how did you get started on this business journey? Because most of the people that I know, this is not something that we plan. It usually stems from maybe some problems that they had and they wanted to teach other people. It's a lot of different scenarios that happens with a lot of people. So how did you get started?
Well, you see, I believe in my case it was more or less predictable. It's when I became a marketer, it's definitely not what I wanted to do initially because I didn't know much about it. But I was graduated from Linguistic University and my first language was French. And through knowing French language, I joined L'Oreal. That was my first company, and this is where I learned about business and about different departments and different functions. And to tell you the truth, I guess when we start, depending on the family you're from, but often there's a perception that to be a valid member of society, you need to have a good career, ideally within a big company, right? So you have to grow and to get your titles. And, this is how you will join the club of successful people. So that was my belief. This is how I was, raised. And this is what I thought. The only way to be in this life is to be an employee of a good company. And this is what I did.
Yeah, that's the path for most people, especially when we're young. Most of us will, we take the traditional path. You go to school, go to college, and you get your first job, and you find out if you like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, then you find another path or other opportunities, or maybe you have to create other opportunities. I would say that's pretty typical for most people. So that's just
and this is why I said it was quite predictable. Once I was asked who I wanted to be when I was younger, when I was a child, and from what I remember, I didn't want to be anything. So it's not that it's something I was talking about, was thinking about. At some point, I guess in my teens, I realized that all I don't want to do is math and science. So basically, it left me with arts, and this is why, it was the language path. But yeah.
Gotcha. So how was it working at L'Oreal? How was your experience there?
You see, I can't generalize as much as the company, because the company, it very much depends on who is leading it. Because even within the same company, you may join it when it's the best school or the best place to be at. And then when leadership changes, the ambience within the company equally changes. And that is not what it used to be. So when I joined, I had marketing director or commercial director, who was probably the biggest leader, although he wasn't the top because he has general manager on top of him. But he was the gifted leader, exactly as a leader was supposed to be, right? And he energized the whole company. So we all were loving being part of this culture. It changed later, but initially, when he made this company something totally incredible, pleasure, honor to be part of. But then again, things change, because directors get promoted and you have somebody else, and it's not the same. But when I joined, it was at its high.
Yeah, why do the CEOs, why do they quit if everything is going well?
They don't quit. They get promoted. They're sent to a different country. They continue their career. So that's what's happening. If they manage to do something on one market that works well, then they kind of earn their reputation and they get further promoted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was under the assumption that after over time, They would just say, "Hey, I'm going to retire." Because you see a lot of that within the marketplace. You might have one guy or gal might be there for 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden you don't see them no more. But hey, where'd she go? She don't work here no more, buddy.
Well, I think it depends. It depends on the situation, depends on the person. But generally, with good leaders who manage, to grow profitability on one certain market, usually they get promoted.
Yeah. So how did you start working with like the big brands?
It was actually through my French language. They were looking for an assistant, so I started as an assistant in trade marketing service, and learned how to be very good with Excel, and so language skills definitely helped initially, and then it was just opportunity to grow further within the company. So I got promoted pretty quickly, and then I got promoted again pretty quickly, unless I realized that what I was doing, because I was responsible for brand activation, it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a brand person, brand marketeer, and not trade marketeer being responsible for brand activation. And that was my latest role with L'Oreal. And this is, after I quit, because they had no opportunities for me to move to a different department where I wanted to be. There was no opening. And I thought that, I kind of used up all that I had to give to this role. I got quite demotivated, and so I left the company.
Okay. Yeah. So, what's it like working with a lot of these big brands? Because, a lot of these big companies, I work in corporate America, like mainly with like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. A lot of these big companies, that they have, in my opinion, they have too much structure. And it's like, as an employee, you don't really have a lot of flexibility, So if someone that's coming from the outside in, they still have their way. They might have their strategies, their own way of doing things. But the big company they've been doing the same thing for, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 years. And how do you work with these companies how do you meet, I guess, like in the middle?
You see, it very much depends on the leader, because I worked for another amazing company, and when I was hired, I had only one brief from the manager of the company, and the brief was, this is your markets, and these are your brands. Make them successful. And he has gone. Right, so basically I had no supervision. I was doing what I thought is right for my brands and for my markets. So I had absolute freedom. Obviously, I was reporting on the results. I was reporting, when I had certain authorizations. But in reality, I was totally unsupervised and free to do whatever I want to do. The same happened in a different company when I was hired to reposition a portfolio of brands. I had 4 brands that I had to reposition in a few months. So I was working one-on-one with the agency the way I found suitable, and only reported once or a couple of times to the director to get the approval. And in other companies, you are so micromanaged that you are totally screwed. So that's one thing. And another thing, it also depends on what value kind of dimension of the company, because there are some companies that focus very much on the product. Some companies may focus on brand building, some on customers, but there are also companies that focus on bureaucracy and processes, right? So it really depends what kind of environment you're in. It's not, unfortunately, that predictable. And also, when the company, they try to increase their margins and squeeze, their costs, often they will shift from one dimension to another one, and usually it will be through bureaucracy, because you have to tighten control and introduce, policing and introduce global practices, because in a way, it's a very good thing because it helps you save your resources and manage them better, and also increase quality control, because when everybody follows the same path, it's very, little deviation to make a mistake and to screw things up. But again, it depends on the leadership, because some will emphasize the processes, like, I don't know, in Kaizen approach to running a business. It's a philosophy. So the process is going to get better, so people will be more productive, and they still will have freedom to improve and contribute. And another company, people will be totally micromanaged. And
yeah, that's usually how you go. I've seen that. I witnessed this over
it's
past.
horrible. It kills everything. It kills your motivation, your productivity, your desire to contribute. It kills everything. And the mood becomes so low, because once I joined the company where the whole team was micromanaged, and I had to deliver 2 massive relaunches. And I knew that if we continue the same way, in 6 months, I will have nobody to relaunch with.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on relaunches, I had to spend 6 months on rebuilding the team's morale from scratch, or from below zero, actually, where they were. So yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it can be a little difficult. I've been in I had job positions where I knew it wasn't going to work, what they wanted me to do, but they just keep doing it anyway.
I've been there too.
Yeah. So
and the worst thing is that even that that it's not going to work, your opinion isn't welcome. You can't challenge. There's no way. Or you put yourself under big threat, of losing. Yeah, and that is just a disaster, because ultimately, I don't know in your case, but in my case, I was still responsible, P&L responsible, right?
Yeah.
And you say, guys, it's not going to work, and say, no, you're going to do it. And then you realize there's one thing, the learning that I took, they don't care of you caring for the job, for your customers, for your clients. All they care about is you being politically correct and do what you are told and play by the rules. And if you don't bring the profit, that you have in your personal objectives, in this case, you're going to be forgiven. As long as you play by the rules, nobody cares that you under-deliver on profitability. And that was incredible.
Yeah, that was my experience. If it's basically like this, if everything goes well, no problem. But if things go the other way, negative, bad, less profit, then you're gonna take the blame.
Yes, you're gonna take the blame. Yeah. Or alternatively, again, what happened to me? So sometimes if you under-deliver but you still play by the rules, they're gonna close their eyes on it.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. But if you want to deliver more, or at least deliver according to your objective, but if it goes against somebody else's opinion, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this.
Oh my God! Thanks God, I'm not the only one.
No. So going through, working in the corporate world and everything, and having those experiences. When did you how did you know you could help other people with coaching and teaching other people what you learned in the past?
You know what? I didn't know about it. I didn't know about anything, because I appeared to be in a really situation that I wouldn't wish to anybody, when you know what you don't want, but you don't know what you want. Right? So your life and your existence becomes totally aimless. You just drift, and you try to hang on to something that you knew you could do. It's like being an employee. I didn't want it anymore. I got fed up with such leaders and really toxic environment in most cases. Not every time, but most cases. And I didn't want to go back. Also, I didn't want to be a marketing director of a big corporation, because I believe I'm not narcissistic enough, so it's something, having so much power and control doesn't really appeal to me. So, but I didn't know what I want to do. And that kind of brought me into the period of deep personal transformation. So I entered this period still looking for a job because I never give up. So I persevered till I got really fed up. I didn't still want to do it. And when I went through this period, kind of becoming a different person, I got this idea, this download that you're going to be a coach. I was like, wow, it's fantastic because finally I know what to do with my life. I was so lost initially. And just having a direction, that felt amazing.
That's good. So when you, you didn't have a lot of these social media platforms like it is today. Do you think a lot of corporate companies utilize it to the best of their ability, social media, and a lot of the apps and technologies to the best of their ability today?
I honestly don't know. For two reasons. So when I was in business, yes, I did have social media and I did have digital, and this is how, I won the award for the best European brand campaign. But it was, I guess, one-off because I started much earlier when it wasn't that popular. Yeah. And also I was still a strategist, so I didn't take care of implementation, of digital things. I didn't have to do it. And now I don't really know what's happening because I don't like social media. I don't follow. I have only a couple of platforms.
Yeah, why? Why is that?
I see no need. It was interesting in the beginning. If we talk, for example, about Facebook, it was interesting in the beginning because you could keep in contact with so many people from different countries, and all my friends, they're like scattered all over the world. Yeah. But now it's just advertising, and I'm not interested. So also with age, I guess people get, or at least my friends, they get off Facebook. So it's something of no use. I use Instagram quite a lot, but it's only for my aesthetic pleasure because I'm following only artists and photographers. So for me, it's like daily inspiration, and this is how I use it. I really rarely communicate with anybody there. So, and LinkedIn for business. But again, I have my presence, but I don't do much. Yeah. I don't know,
I'm not a fan of all of these social media websites. Only thing I like mainly is YouTube. And
sorry, forgot about that. I live there. I live on YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube, LinkedIn is okay. I'm not a fan of Facebook at all. Instagram, it's okay. But I mainly, I got to a point where, because at one point, I've been online for 15 years now. So at one point, you had a whole lot of sites that were like YouTube. You had a whole lot of sites that were like Facebook. And at some point, some they went away. And I just chose to focus on YouTube and LinkedIn. Even when LinkedIn nobody knew what LinkedIn was. I was there. Yeah. I wasn't utilizing the way I should have been, but I just chose to focus on YouTube, focus on video mainly, because I kept seeing a lot of these other sites going away. And then you have, people have, they would add the advertising, add on to a lot of these sites or whatever. But a lot of the ad programs, unfortunately, are corrupt. So when you say a lot of times it's a waste of time or useless, I I can understand why you would say that, because it's.
Well, you know what? It doesn't apply to YouTube, first of all, again, because I live on YouTube. From morning till night, there's always something that I mostly listen because I don't have time to watch, but I can listen. And what really makes I like that you can increase speed. So you still get enough information, but it takes less time. So it's a kind of cheating, but works for me. And with regards to LinkedIn, you know what? I think it's a fantastic tool. It's very useful. What I'm not really in favor of is all these praises and people showing off. I can't see much authenticity on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There's too much self-promotion and mutual praise.
Yep.
So that kind of, I think the idea is fantastic, but just a little bit probably too politically correct.
Yeah, it's pros and cons, and every site is different.
Yeah.
Every site, every ad is different. So yeah, I can see that. And it's changed over the past, I would say, 10 years too. It didn't, the way it is today, it wasn't like it was 10 years ago. It's I remember when I first came online, I was on Facebook, and people would say, "Hey, why you're on Facebook? That's for college kids."
Oh no, it was great. Certain moment of time, it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And then at one point, there was MySpace back in the day. They would say, "What are you doing on there? That's a scam site." So back then, a lot of the social media sites wasn't so publicized. I guess today they didn't even talk about it, unless you were in like the music business or something like that. That's the only way they would talk about MySpace. Yeah. So what made you want to write a book?
Oh, that was my latest attempt in finding a job as employee. I told you that I don't give up. So I was persevering and I was applying to all different jobs within marketing, because in the beginning I wanted to be at my level. Then I thought, bugger, I don't want it. I just want to just leave me alone. I can do something. It's not so for me, it was really no difference. Because again, I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. So I was like, whatever, I can do anything. So let me try anything. And also coming from being 100% sure that if you want to be a good strategist, you have to change industries. Because I don't believe in one-trick ponies. When people hire, like, you need to have a precise industry match. That it doesn't work. It's really not for the favor of business, because people will know only one thing and then their minds get rusty and then they get demotivated, and it's like, they get conservative in their thinking. So for strategists, it's really not a good thing, but whatever. So I was changing industry, and that's why, again, I didn't have any specific industries to approach. And I was having all these interviews, and as a strategist, I was analyzing every company. Their brand, their customer audience, their target audience, their messaging, what they do. So to get an idea, and every time was like, very seldom I could actually understand what they talk about or who they target. So for me, it was indication that strategy wasn't in place. And when I was having interviews and I was asking questions or telling my thoughts, I could see that what I say, they hear it for the first time. They have no idea what I'm talking about. And I kind of find in the beginning, I find it quite amusing. And then it stopped being amusing because I thought, oh dear God, how do you run businesses? Sorry, but you don't know basic things. And that was from one company to another, irrelevant of the size, irrelevant of the industry. 3 times I was asked to send them my strategy presentation that I prepared for the interview. And once they just told me directly, we're going to use it to create our own strategy. I was like, oh, how interesting, right? And so I got this kind of understanding that the marketing knowledge within most of organizations is designed to be better. And at the same time, I knew that I'm not going back. Yes, I'm looking for a job. I don't want it. And that was kind of something like, oh my God, I have so much knowledge that I don't want to waste it. So So I started writing the book just to share what I know and to put it on paper. I had no idea what I'm going to be doing with the book. I didn't want to be an author, God forbid. And I wrote it, and I still don't want to be an author. But
Why?
it's no fun. It's a lot of work.
It is.
When you do everything by yourself, oh my God. So, the fact that I kept my sanity after 3 years of writing, editing, designing, redesigning, publishing, 2 months with Amazon, I hardly survived there. They're horrible. So, it's just no fun. It just sounds like it's fantastic, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to share what I know. That's basically what it was.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I wrote 3 books. I said, man, I'm never doing this again.
3? And you said you never, well, you've done it already twice.
Yeah, so I'm never going to do this again. This is, unless somebody wants to partner with me or something like that, but it's a lot of work.
Why didn't you stop about the first one? Why did you have to write 3 to come to this brilliant, genius idea?
But people kept asking for it. They kept asking for another one. Yeah, that's why. But they're not asking for it now, so thank God.
And what the books were about?
Basically, about relationships and just being the best version of self, being the best you can be. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, just on my street. Yeah.
Yeah, So you have this concept called Conscious Business Rebel. What's that about?
You see, actually, I had to recall it differently, rename it. So because conscious is quite specific, you have so many different businesses that work for impact. They're impact driven beyond profit. Right, and conscious business is just one type of this kind of group of fair trade, green businesses, responsible businesses, social, B Corps. They're all gonna be like in the same group of businesses that I work with, and I call them now impact-driven businesses, not to put everybody separately in a separate group.
Yeah. I started hearing about people just using the word conscious over the past, I would say, 4 years, which was different. I never heard people use that word in business, anywhere until like.
No, I think it's just it's used more and more often.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing though, because people kind of act like they kind of treat business like it's just it's all about profit. That's it. It's like they act like that's the bottom line and that's it.
I believe that when you have and you aspire to contribute more, just beyond profit, more than just profit, I do believe that it creates a better, more solid foundation for a business to be sustainable and to be more successful longer term. Because when you have something to aspire to, when you have something that drives you, your motivation increases, your resilience increases, your perception of your business by the market, your customers, authorities, right? Different types of whoever your external stakeholders are. I believe that it adds so much to your company reputation. And it also, if you're not afraid of being true to what you state as your mission, as your purpose, you will likely to attract better employees and have better morale within an organization. So I believe that, if you have like something, if it was a discipline like company psychology, so I believe that starting with purpose and contribution, you will. It's exactly that. Yeah. So if you want to do good, likely you will attract people that will resonate with you, and it may do wonders to your company.
Yeah. So if people wanted to work with you and reach out to you online, where would they go to?
That is so easy. Under the show, you're gonna have show notes, and in show notes, there's gonna be a link. So you can click on the link, nothing special, nothing complicated, and you can come to different offers that I suggest. So including the offer for the book, that is a strategy guide. And if you are in the UK, I guess predominantly, or in Europe, there is a 50% off, something that you can benefit from.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think below. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it real.